Welcome to Today in Prophecy Daily News in 15 minutes or less. It's news with a biblical perspective. Wow, what a day. Check this out. Archbishop Vignano says the Pope's attitude to sin is antichristic, antichrist-like. And Trump's pick, get this, we're going to see it, Pentagon chief suggests building the temple on the Temple Mount. No, you look at this, we're going to go there in just a minute, but check this out. Look at this picture. Three governors look at this, states with governors preparing to combat Trump. California, New York, and Illinois. Top states Americans are moving out of: California, New York, and Illinois. Very interesting indeed. Thank you for that post. Also, this is regarding Melania.
Days ago, I did a video. Father show. I did a video. So, uh, wow. And this morning, today's the 15th. It's the 15th. And listen to what he says about the temple and who Trump picked. Trump's picked. And he mentioned the third temple. Check this out. Just listen to this.
Trump, regardless of what you think about Trump, look at this info. Look at this. Melania's home was raided. Her personal belongings and medical records were scoured. Her husband's security was withheld. Endless lawfare plus more at the hands of Jill and Joe Biden's administration. Why, pray tell, would she want to sit down to tea with that woman? Yeah, no kidding. Just a simple fact. Well, listen, folks, you got to hear this one. You ready? There's Times of Israel. Trump's nominee for Pentagon chief suggested new temple could be built on the Temple Mount. President-elect Donald Trump's nominee for Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, suggested that a temple could be reestablished on the Temple Mount in a resurfaced speech he gave in 2018 at a Ruth Shiva conference in Jerusalem. There's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible. He said, I don't know how it would happen. You don't know how it would happen, but I know that it could happen, he added. Now, I want to bring some Bible into this. People are saying, hey, Trump is going to split the land. Well, if you remember back to 2016 to 2020, during his administration, 2017 to 2020, well, in effect, he did with the Abraham Accords, does split the land if you were to look at it. I always question the term Abraham Accords. There's really only one Abrahamic covenant. Nevertheless, as I've been pounding the drum over the last week, I'm convinced, assuming Trump makes it all the way to January 20th, I mean, there's so many different factors in here right now, then listen, I believe that because of the normalization agreements, there's going to be more money flooding into Israel with Saudi Arabia and other nations, including the U.S. I believe Gaza is going to be rebuilt. I believe that people in Israel are going to be celebrating. I believe it's going to appear that everything is wonderful. I believe that this is necessary in order to get to the fulfillment of Ezekiel chapter 38, where Israel basically lays down their arms. And we know that because chapter 38, verse 11 of Ezekiel tells us that Israel will be dwelling in peace and safety. There's no way that was going to happen under the Biden administration, nor under the Kamala Harris administration if that were to happen. Israel's constantly on guard. They're with Russia and with Iran. Constantly, we see there's still rockets being fired at Israel right now. I'm convinced that Trump is going to bring a different dynamic to Israel. Israel's going to be feeling very secure in the very near future, assuming Trump is able to assume the presidency come January 20th. So interesting things. And then Pete Hegseth said this back in 2018, I'd have a temple on the Temple Mount. I want to get to that a little bit more on the temple part here in just a minute. But you look at all of these different factors, and I want to say this. I do not believe Trump is Antichrist. If you recall, governors preparing to combat Trump. California, New York, and Illinois. Top states Americans are moving out of: California, New York, and Illinois. Very interesting indeed. Belongings and medical records were scoured. Her one. You ready? This Times of Israel. Trump's nominee for Pentagon chief suggested new temple could be built on the Temple Mount. President-elect Donald Trump's nominee for Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, suggested that a temple could be reestablished on the Temple Mount in a resurfaced speech he gave in 2018 at a Ruth Shiva conference in Jerusalem. There's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible, he said. I don't know how it would happen. You don't know how it would happen, but I know that it could happen, he added. Now, I want to bring some Bible into this. People are saying, hey, Trump is going to split the land. Well, if you remember back to 2016 to 2020, during his administration, 2017 to 2020, well, in effect, he did with the Abraham Accords does split the land if you were to look at it. I always question the term Abraham Accords. There's really only one Abrahamic covenant. Nevertheless, as I've been pounding the drum over the last week, I'm convinced, assuming Trump makes it all the way to January 20th, I mean, there's so many different factors in here right now, then listen, I believe that because of the normalization agreements, there's going to be more money flooding into Israel with Saudi Arabia and other nations, including the U.S. I believe Gaza is going to be rebuilt. I believe that people in Israel are going to be celebrating. I believe it's going to appear.
I found it. Here's the news right here. In the Times of Israel, this is November 14th. And I had a thought on the 10th. And look at this. I could have made a video, a different video, but look at this. Trump's nominee for Pentagon chief suggests new temple could be built on Temple Mount. Wow. And I say in my video that I'm not going to erase my video. Look at this right here. Here it is. In the Times of Israel. There's the news right here. All before this came out, I thought it came about a week ago, or a few days before the 10th. President-elect Donald Trump's nominee for Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, suggests that a temple could be reestablished on the Temple Mount. Wow. In 2018, at a Ruth Shiva conference in Jerusalem, he gave a speech on that. Wow. He says, I don't know how it would happen. You don't know how it would happen, but I know that it could happen. He added, wow. So you see, in the settlements of the West Bank. And next, he says he's prepared to endorse annexing Israeli settlements of efforts often described as applying Israel sovereignty to Judea and Samaria. That's the east of Jerusalem, I believe. Using the biblical names of the West Bank. Yep, the West Bank. Wow. And see, the church is going to be here because the two witnesses got to come first. The two witnesses will be killed right there when the temple is built. And there will be rapture of it. And I believe that's when the church will be raptured up to. Judea and Samaria. Boy, I tell you what, a lot of churches don't speak too much about Israel, but it's significant for today. And so that is why going and visiting Judea and Samaria and understanding the sovereignty, the very sovereignty of Israeli soil, Israeli cities, locations, is a critical step to showing the world that this is the land of the Jews, yep, and the land of Israel, except added. Says here, he also rejects the two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, saying that if you walk the ground today, you understand that there is no such as the outcome of the two-state solution. There is one state. Let's see what this says. I didn't play this. I just found this. Let's see what it plays.
And today, Jennifer and I and others had a chance to go see the western wall of the Temple Mount, the western wall tunnels, so much of the old city. And as you stand there, you can't help but behold the miracle before you. And it got me thinking about another miracle that I hope all of you don't see too far away. Because 1917 was a miracle, 1948 was a miracle, 1967 was a miracle, 2017, the declaration of Jerusalem as the capital was a miracle, and there's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible.
Wow. Wow. Let's listen to this again. Let me lower my voice.
Well, it is an absolute honor to be here. A couple of folks had to leave, but I definitely want to thank Minister Naftali Bennett for being here, the Deputy Defense Minister who spoke, the Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem. Thank you, sir, for being here. Members of the Knesset. None of us would be here without Dr. Joe Frager. Please, a round of applause for a great friend, a great patriot of both America and Israel. The reason I'm here, the reason I have learned so much about Israel. Thank you very much, sir. And I also would be remiss if I did not thank Jennifer for being here. The smartest, most talented, wonderful woman I have ever met, my best friend, my partner. Thank you for being here so much with me. So I get the chance to talk to a lot of American audiences. In the next couple of weeks, I'll be talking to Republicans in Alabama, in Michigan, in Washington State, in Minnesota, in different states across America. And I always talk about three things in each speech, three things that Americans need to remember. One, that history is not over, that the trajectory of life continues, that what we have in America, as the second point, is not inevitable. A lot of Americans assume that because America is the richest and most powerful and bountiful country in the world, that will just perpetuate itself. And we live comfortably we have two oceans on our east and our west, and Canada and Mexico on our north and our south, and we sometimes get very complacent in the understanding that America will always be the world's superpower, capable of wielding our influence economically, politically, or diplomatically as we see fit. This room understands that history is not over and that nothing is inevitable in this world. More than anything else, standing in this hotel, in this very city, in this very country, it's palatable, that sense. It's part of that sense of purpose that draws me back to this country and to the bond, the eternal bond that we share between our two nations. The third thing, after history is not over and America is not inevitable, is that if the 21st century, the century we are in, is not a century led by Americans and free peoples, Americans, Israelis, and others, then this century will not be a free century. The 20th century was not I don't have to tell this room what the world went through in the 20th century to be where we are today. Wars, holocausts, wars for independence that put us in this very room today. If the 21st century is not led bravely by free men and free women, principally America, Israel, and our limited number of partners in this world, then the 21st century could very well be dark. History is not over. America is not inevitable, and while Israel and the Jewish people may live eternally, the status of this state is by no means inevitable, as everyone in this room knows. So it is on us as free people to make sure that we guard it at every turn and fight to keep the 21st century a free century. So I'm here to say a bit on behalf of America, and I don't purport to speak on behalf of my country or all Americans at all, that we are very proud that America is back on the world stage. You know, the minister talked about the head of the octopus, talked about Iran, and the many, many tentacles that the Iranian regime has in the world today.
Listen to this now. I'm going to play it. Guys, I'm going to comment something. Comment something. I'm going to comment. I'm going to say something. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked by what I'm about to say. Don't be shocked. Listen to this first.
Then next year in Jerusalem, but we are here in Jerusalem. And today, Jennifer and I and others had a chance to go see the Western Wall of the Temple Mount, the Western Wall tunnels, so much of the old city. And as you stand there, you can't help but behold the miracle before you. And it got me thinking about another miracle that I hope all of you don't see too far away. Because 1917 was a miracle, 1948 was a miracle, 1967 was a miracle, 2017, the declaration of Jerusalem as the capital was a miracle, and there's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible.
Wow. You hear that?
I don't know how it would happen. You don't know how it would happen, but I know that it could happen. That's all I know. And a step in that process, a step in every process, is the recognition that facts and activities on the ground truly matter. And that's why going and visiting Judea and Samaria, understanding that sovereignty, the very sovereignty of Israeli soil, and Israeli cities, locations, is a critical next step to showing the world that this is the land for Jews and the land of Israel. And I believe, as was mentioned, he said you need to, what was mentioned is you need to buy the ticket. Don't just wish.
Did you hear what he said? And now here's what I'm about to tell you now. And now you know what the he might be revealed in his text. Are you listening? When the temple is built, he will be revealed, the son of perdition. Are you listening to what I just said? Don't be shocked. And now you know why withholdeth, so he might be revealed. This is time for him. So Jesus says, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet, you hear what Jesus says? When you see the abomination of desolation, and I'm going to bring you the scripture before I leave you. Jesus said in Matthew 24, I'll show you what he says here. In Matthew 24, Jesus says in verse 15, when you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet, to stand in the holy place. Whosoever reads this, let him understand. And let them which beware in that area over there in Judea, when that takes place, the two witnesses will be killed. The first they got to prophesy for 3.5 years. Just to flee into the mountains. And then I'm going to give you another scriptures. Now you know what withholdeth. What is withholding? Eh? So that he might be revealed in this time. The other one, 2 Thessalonians, makes it easier to go there. Go there, 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2. Here, I want to beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him. Don't be shaken in mind. Don't be troubled. Don't be troubled in spirit or in word, nor in letter. It's from us. From us. That the day of Christ is at hand. I mean, that's been said 2,000 years ago. It's been said it's at hand. But it was not the time yet until now. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day should not come, except what comes first, the falling away first. Comes first, the falling away. And who's going to be revealed? The man of sin will be revealed, the son of perdition. Listen to this. Who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called God. Those that worship God. This those that basically the ones that are true believers. This exactly. But he wants to be above all of those that he wants to worship, or that is worshipped. So that he, as God, sits where? In the temple of what? In the temple, and the third temple that's coming of God. He's in Jerusalem. He's going to do it. He's going to show himself, showing himself that he is God. That's what's going to happen. The two witnesses will be in Jerusalem. They will be in Jerusalem. Remember, you not that when I was with you, I told you these things, Jesus said? Guess what? But now you know what is withholding it, that he might be revealed. And his time is going to be revealed during the third temple. For those that know the seek the Lord, they're going to recognize, they know. It's going to be the feeling. That's something. You know now what is withholding it. That you what might be revealed. It's not going to be secret in his turn. See, for the mystery already is at work. The mystery of iniquity is talking about iniquity does already work. Only he now is letting it happen. Will let it happen until he is taken out of the way. How is he going to be taken out of the way? Well, it tells you right here. When the Lord, and then to show that with it, he revealed. He's going to be revealed in the third temple. Who the Lord should come in He's going to take them out of the way when the Lord should consume with the spirit of his mouth and should destroy the brightness of his coming. That's how he's going to be taken out. Even him who is coming is after the working of Satan. Yes, the Lord's coming after Satan is doing uh, his coming is after the workings of Satan. Satan's going to be doing things to oppose, to destroy, to deceive, to kill and destroy. That's what his nature is. And then with all power and signs and lying wonders, which is he's going to do. That's the working of Satan. That he's going to come with power. He's going to do the same thing as the two witnesses will do to deceive the people. See? And with all deceivableness of righteousness, that and then they perish because what? They will not receive this truth, and they will not receive the truth of the Lord. You receive not the love, and it calls it the love of the truth, that they might be what? Saved. And look at this. And God, and for this cause, God should send them a strong delusion that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but pleasure in, right here is the key, on righteousness. Wow. I mean, it's what withholdeth. You know what is withholdeth? So he might be revealed. Let me see, I'm gonna let you go now. I let you go now. You see.